What's up guys, ThatOneTomahawk here, and welcome back to the Cube. As you can see, there is a brand new thumbnail. Let's just, I don't know, I'm just going to take a, for example, so Finn went ahead and made me a brand new thumbnail that I could go ahead and use on my SG videos. By the way, I need to drag this window up so I can see it better. I was just basically dragging it up to the top of my screen. Anyway, so what I could do is I could just go right here and then stand on this chest, and then look at that. Boom. That was the thumbnail for this video. It's kind of, it's different than the, default weird blue one that I had before, and to be honest, I think it looks a lot cooler, so shout out to Finn for making that. And not to mention all my other thumbnails are made by him now, so I'm trying to get the Finn's graphics like flow going through my videos. The only thing's missing is an intro, which he's too busy to do that, but we'll get it eventually. Anyway, going back to the point, so as you can see there, oh my goodness, look at that. I'm a terrible video maker who always forgets to turn off his air conditioner right before we start the video. Don't worry guys, that won't be an issue anymore. Anyway, so right, so you can see there's a bunch of boats in my inventory, and you're like, what are you gonna go on my boats? Are you a pirate or something? Well, yes, I'm a pirate, but don't, that's not my day job. I kind of do other things as well. I go to school and stuff. I'm a pirate trying to get an education and whatnot, but no, I'm just kidding. So I noticed that one of the few things that wasn't discovered on the cube as of yet is no one's found a mushroom biome. And I remember back on one of my very first episodes of the cube, I was actually trying to go ahead and find myself a mushroom biome, and I wasn't able to do it. In fact, I went onto this weird island and I managed to kill myself. And then I had to go back and then collect all my stuff. It was a long, tedious process in attempts to go ahead and get all my stuff back. And I kind of I wanted to go ahead and make this video more so about topics, and I wanted to have something going on in the background while I did so. If you're here for some weird cube commentary or some weird cube gameplay where I'm building something, this is not the video for you, sadly. But if you are here to listen to a weird, intriguing topic that I haven't done since literally the very first episodes of first videos that I've ever made on YouTube, I have two topics that I want to talk about. One of the things that I've kind of touched upon before, like both of these are really topics that just back when I first started doing YouTube, but one of them is in light of the fact that I went to school and I saw a presentation on something similar, and it reminded me about it. And the other one was because it reminded me about it, and I looked back to see the video, and then a video uploaded on near a similar date was talking about the same thing. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk about the one that I find personally more interesting. And by the way, this is the video, if you want to go back and actually watch it, it's like one of my very first videos. It's how much money do you pay to watch YouTube? And so I'm actually redoing that with I wouldn't say more knowledge than I had before, but definitely way better the webcam quality, and it's weird to see like the different, like I went back to watch that and I was like, whoa, my commentating style was a lot different back then. My microphone was a lot worse, even though I still have that buzzing sound, which I'm trying to get rid of. I needed an XLR cable to get rid of that. By the way, I'm just gonna start heading off into this general direction looking for the stuff. Or, the mushroom biome. Hopefully I can find one. I honestly don't think I'll find one, but this is just, filler stuff so I can talk about what I want to talk about. So, oh my goodness, I have something in my eye. How much money do you pay to watch YouTube? Now, an ordinary person would go ahead and say, oh, I don't pay anything to watch YouTube. That's one of the lovely things that I go ahead and watch my videos, and I watch them for free because YouTube's awesome, But that is where you're wrong. You're paying money in theoretical dollars whenever you're watching YouTube videos. Now, you might be wondering, what the heck does that mean, Tomahawk? Well, I'll go ahead and explain to you. So, before you watched this video, you probably saw an advertisement, and that advertisement could have ranged from anywhere from 15 to maybe a minute long, and sometimes you could skip it, sometimes you can't. It just really depends on the ad that YouTube decides to put on. So, people have the ability on their videos to put monetization on them. Assuming that even sometimes when you don't monetize your content, YouTube still has the rights to put ads on them, just because they, YouTube likes to do that or something. I'm also going to scoot over a little bit to try to even out the centering of my webcam. But anyway, what that translates to is there's this universal idea of how much money a content creator gets paid for every 1,000 views. Now, this is excluding the average that people had, or at least this is the old average. It actually varies depending on month to month. It's called CPM, which means clicks per milli. It just pretty much translates to how much money a person gets paid per 1,000 views. Now, obviously, YouTube gets their cut, and CPM is excluding YouTube's cut and any other cut that is there. If you have a network cut, that's not included because you still have to split. But back in the day, back when Machinima was the best gaming network to go to, it's not really the best anymore, mostly because they just kind of messed around with contracts and stuff. There was a big issue that I completely forgot all about with Machinima, and the point is, I'm not with Machinima. Obviously, I wouldn't be saying that. I would be bashing them if I was with Machinima. But point is, I'm going. I think that was the island that I managed to kill myself on. I'm pretty sure over there from a long time. Shout out to the old island. Anyway, so let's just assume that back in the day, the average CPM that major networks as well as YouTube would pay out is a $2 CPM. So that means for every 1,000 monetized views that you get, which means some people have ad block, some people are on mobile. You don't get ad revenue for those. So for every 1,000 monetized views, you'll get $2. So let's go. And the reason why YouTube networks did that is to kind of create a universal average for stuff, because if you have January, the CPM for January is actually really, 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 really low. And when I say really low, I mean it's really, really bad. And the reason for that being is all the advertisers went ahead and paid all their money to advertise on stuff back in December. CPM is really high in December because it's Christmas. Everyone wants to buy stuff for the holiday season, and that's why CPM is really high. And then January, everyone already spent their money, so advertisers aren't willing to spend more money on advertising in January. It just makes sense. So obviously, you'll have this high number and these low numbers that kind of range throughout the year depending on holidays and really just whatever is going on. You have that, and what Machinima thought, or major networks that paid $2 CPM, is $2 was kind of like the average that you would have. Now the thing is recently the new popularized version of the way people get paid is through percentage CPM as opposed to a flat CPM. So that means if I were to have it's called the percentage CPM because you earn a percentage of what you actually make as opposed to a flat rate. There's the pros to this is that you actually if you're on average now you don't almost always CPM is higher than $2. It never drops lower than $2 even in that January month. It's just always better than that. But the thing is. The problem is, it fluctuates. So, you can be making a $6 CPM one month, and you could have a $3 CPM one month, and then, your network will still take their percentage. But in general, if you're going to go partner with a network, I'll tell you, don't go for a flat rate CPM. Go ahead and go for a percentage CPM because those are better, just in general. Just go ahead and do that. If that's just a little piece of advice. But anyway, I'm correlating this back to you paying metaphysical money to go ahead and watch YouTube videos, even though you're not actually paying anything. And so obviously for every let me just get a calculator out right here just so I can go ahead and just do some math, because I'm gonna try to figure this out on the fly. So I'm pulling out this calculator app on my iPad. There you go. So so for every 1,000 views you have we're just gonna go with a standard of $2 because it's a lot more simple to go ahead and do that. So every 1,000 views you get $2. So you have 1,000. You have $2, 2.00, and then you divide that by 1,000. So there you go. So for every single view that you get, or a person gets, every monetized view, an advertiser will pay you, in theory, $0.002. So what is that? That's 0.02 cents for every time someone views your video. Now, obviously, that's pretty much every time you click on a video, you are paying someone that much money. You're actually paying people more, but this is just for simplicity's sake. I'm just throwing numbers out there. Also, what the heck? There's pigs hiding in these trees. That's kind of confusing. Anyway, so you're paying $2 per whatever. You're paying $0.02 or $0.002 every time you view a video. Now you might be thinking, well, this is absolutely nothing. How can people make their livings off of YouTube if they do that? Well, obviously the meaning is numbers. Obviously if you have a million people watching watching one of your videos, you just if you want to figure out how much money that video is making, you just plop up 3 zeros, so that's 1,000, and then you multiply it by 2, so that video probably made around $2,000. That's pretty much the easy way to go ahead and think about it. So if you think Gangnam Style, I think it's approaching 2 billion views at this point. I don't really follow that thing anymore. That means that YouTube video in theory made $4 million just by existing there from ad revenue, right? Only from ad revenue. That's a lot of money. Anyway, so continuing on, you as a person, how much do you think that you go ahead and spend on each? By the way, this lag is happening because of the fact that these chunks have never been loaded before. So you as a person, how much do you think that you go ahead and pay, how many videos you watch? Let's just say per year you are a person who maybe watches 3, 4-ish videos a day per month, or per month, per day. So you're not watching too many YouTube videos, and you're going ahead and watching at least 1,000 YouTube videos a year. So you basically, in theory, pay $2 to view someone's video or view all the videos you want on YouTube for a year. You're paying $2 in your time. But that actually brings up another question. How much is your time worth? How much is your eyes looking at an advertisement worth to people? And that's kind of subjective because, the way money works is it just depends on how much people are willing to pay and how much things are. Like, these standards are in place, not because of the fact that, that they make sense. It's just people decided, hey, we'll do this, and no one's going to argue with it because whatever. Right? But the crazy thing is, so like, you as one person, for every year, you're paying $2 to go ahead and watch a video. So like, let's just say you in a city of 200,000 people go ahead and watch that amount of stuff, everything. So you have 200,000. So your city is paying $400,000 a year just to watch YouTube videos, and that's just you taking your time and sitting there watching. So you're watching 1,000 videos a year. So per year, you're probably watching 30-second ads. So 1,000 times 30. So you're watching 30,000 seconds, or so you just divide that by 60. You're watching 500 minutes, or divide that by 60 again. You're watching about 8.3 hours of advertisements a year. That's actually quite a long time of advertisements. Plus, there's a lot more on like actual TV shows. Like, you'll be watching like 6 minutes of ads, and I'm assuming lots of people watch TV all day. You're watching hours upon hours of advertisements a year. So for 8.3 hours a year, plus you multiply that by the 200,000 people, 200,000 people that are living in your city in total is spending 1,666,660. That's a lot of sixes. To watch YouTube videos. You're paying that. That's not how much you're paying. That's how much time is being spent in hours. So let me just go ahead and divide that by 24, and then we divide that by 365. So 190 years, your 200,000 person city is watching every year on advertisements. Also, look at that. There's a village. Huh. Cool. And that's a lot of time. And is it worth the money you're spending? 190 years for $400,000. That is not too much, to be honest. It's not too much. But we're all forgetting that people, there's 2 billion people in the world, so 2 billion people in the world. Yeah, we're approaching like 8 billion or something like that. Last time I checked, the census were saying like 7 billion or something, but then population increase. But anyway, so the cool thing is you're actually paying money to watch this stuff. Like, this money exists, but it doesn't exist. It's like in the spectrum. Like, you could be pulling these little micro dollars out of the air to go ahead and watch YouTube videos. And I find it really interesting that the way that kind of works and stuff. It seems cool to me, and hopefully you were interested by that. So, topic number 2, gonna take a break to take a sip of this good old pink lemonade. Ooh, that's good. Okay, so I was sitting in English class, and we were giving these things on their novel project presentations, and they were supposed to like make creative talks about 10 minutes long about topics relating to our book and then explain it to the class. My teacher said, like, take TED Talks, for example. You want to make something interesting like that. Now, one of the topics that people talked about in their presentation is how social media is kind of destroying connection of people as altogether, and that's what I want to talk about. So if you were to look at me last year, maybe a year and a half ago, I was a person who absolutely hated any form of social media that wasn't YouTube. Hated Twitter, hated Instagram, hated Tumblr, hated pretty much everything that wasn't a YouTube video. That I just hated it. I didn't want to have myself involved with the whole selfie, Instagram, Valencia filter type whatever stuff going on. I just felt that it was a waste of time, and I didn't want to be a part of it. Now look at me now. I'm a person who consistently uses Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and I go on Tumblr sometimes, but I don't really have an account. I just go on there to view random stuff. Also, is this a person's mine? No, it's just a random cave. I was like, oh, someone's actually been out here before. But nope. Okay, here's a roofed forest. Anyway, continuing on what I was talking about, and the reason why I decided, I thought that it was, social media was bad, was because it disconnected people. And in a way, it does. It's kind of ironic because, social media and connection through technology is kind of this double-edged sword in a way. well, it's not, I guess, double-edged sword. It's kind of like it's a flip of a coin, or not flip of a coin. I'm trying to figure out an analogy that works good. It's a give and take. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a give and take on the way it works. On one hand, you have the idea that you are able to connect with anyone throughout the world. If you have a family member who is off in let's just say they're in Vietnam for some reason, and you're not able to talk to them for the most part because they're so far away. The social media, Skype, phone calls, and all that stuff allows you to be interconnected and feel like you're still a part of that person and be connected with them. And I think that's absolutely amazing. The fact that I could go right now and talk to someone who's across the world instantaneously, minus a couple milliseconds ping lag, it's awesome. But there's the other side to it that is bad, is that we're disconnecting ourselves and kind of like putting out images that are bad, like not on the positive side. So what I'm trying to mean by this is, you see that people are all connected, but since they're so connected, they're disconnected. So take it for example, like I walk to school in the morning and I have my headphones in and I'm just listening to music and I'm not really paying attention to anything. I kind of a people watch as I'm walking to class, and I notice the fact that I'd say 6 out of 10 people that I'm walking past have an iPhone put up to their face, and they're on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, talking to their friends. Maybe they're texting, and and the other 4 people are talking to their friends or whatever, and they're actually connecting. But the fact that the majority of people who go to my school all have iPhones, which Apple's going to take over the world alongside Google. Anyway, the fact that they're all doing this and they're all connected is they're disconnecting themselves from actual physical interaction, and they're kind of messing themselves over, or screwing themselves over, in the sense is that they're not going to be able to interact socially anymore. Take for example, I'm not a very social person. Well, actually, no, I am a social person. Like I consider myself almost an introvert in the sense that I need to stay and recharge my batteries like for at least 4 or 5 hours a day, and then the rest of the time I could go out and spend time with people. But I can burn myself burn myself out really easily just by talking to people. It's just a thing that happens to me. Go figure. But me burning myself out, it's like I'm actually trying to talk to people and stuff. I don't know where I was going with this, to be honest. But point is, I'm trying to go back to relating how social media is kind of messing us up. Is we're letting it engulf our lives, and we never, I saw this awesome video. It's called Look Up, I think, and it's talking about how, oh my goodness, there's a forest fire. Put out the forest fire. No, I'm just kidding. I'll let it burn. Watch it burn into flames. And this social media is it's supposed to be a key to unlock the thing, but it's becoming a lock. And it's the thing that in the presentation they were talking about how social media is like, it's funny because they had a PowerPoint presentation. They related it really well. The person who did it, I think they pretty much got an A. It was a great presentation. They were talking about how the technology is hindering us because there's an information overload. Like there's too much for us to process and still be able to connect physically. Oh right, I remember what I was doing. I'm relating it back. I'll pop back and forth. So me being able to go outside and interact socially is is a good thing. But there's people who are on their phones too often, and they are texting or whatever, and they can't interact socially face to face. It's kind of, I think, part of the reason why people are nowadays are really bad at public speaking. Although people were always bad at public speaking. Heck, I'm not even too good at it. Is the fact that we're not actually talking to people in regular social situations anymore. If you're not talking to your friends face to face because you're talking to them on Twitter or texting them on Snapchat or whatever, you're not actually able to develop that social skill that is speaking to other people. And when you go ahead and you're finding yourself in a situation, presenting something to your coworkers, or you're giving a presentation in front of the class, you can't do it because you haven't developed these social skills of talking to other people in just a normal social situation. You're messing yourself up on 2 different levels. Most of the time people aren't good public speakers, but you not talking to other people outside of your public speaking isn't good either. And flipping it back once more, I'm ping-ponging all over the place. They were talking about how there's this information overload. There's too much stuff to be able to process at any one given time and still be able to go back to your actual, real life thing. But it was interesting because the person who was presenting related it back to something that I hadn't thought before, and that it's that the fact that technology actually, in a sense, if used incorrectly, there's two sides of the spectrum. Either you're too overloaded or you have nothing. And nothing, you can't be connected. Overload, you're too connected. And there's this middle ground that you can find that people obviously can't really obtain because it's, unobtainium, Avatar reference, that we need to strive for. If you find yourself on your phone way too often, texting people and, you on your Snapchat 24/7, or you're on Skype tweeting every 5 seconds. Yes, I know those people who do that. I have friends who do that, and that's the reason why I don't follow real life friends, because they tweet too much. But actually follow some real life friends, but they don't tweet too often. Anyway, there's that side of the spectrum that you need to avoid using stuff way too often. Take a break, abstain from that phone, put it down for at least 10 minutes. And then obviously if you're on the other side who doesn't use social media whatsoever, you're missing out. Like, there's so much stuff that the internet and telecommunications and all that good jazz has to provide for you, and you're disconnected. You're 100% disconnected. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but I'm not saying it's a good thing either. Like, being overconnected is the same way. It's not a bad thing, but it's not too good of a thing either. But if you find this middle ground, it's good because you're connected, but you're not too connected, and you still have these social skills that basic human beings should and probably will be able to have. And honestly, if you want my personal opinion, I doubt that we as people will be able to go back to that moderation and not be able to put the phone down. And we're too connected. And I honestly think, like, while I hope that someday we can find moderation in between the two extremes, I think we're screwed. Like, we can't go back. There's too many people who are too connected, and they don't want to go back to their regular. What the heck is that down there? They don't want to go back to the way it was. They don't want to go back to actually talking to people. And eventually, we're never going to be able to face each other in real life. You're going to be FaceTiming someone who's 2 inches away from you, or you're not going to even leave your house anymore. No one's going to leave their house anymore because of just how weird people are going to be. And I really, really, really do hope that the communication barrier can be broken and people aren't too connected or too disconnected. But only time will tell to see what's going to happen. And anyway, I think that's going to be pretty much the end of me wrapping up. That's going to be me bringing an end to the topics that I wanted to talk about in this cube. Sorry that I didn't find the mushroom biome where I didn't have anything more entertaining. But honestly, I think I know not too many people are going to care about that. So whatever. I feel good about this. I felt like I inserted my point that I wanted to insert. So leave your ideas upon being theoretically paying through stuff by just being there, and about how you think people are too connected or too disconnected in the comments. I like reading them, especially on these kinds of topic type videos. Oh my goodness, that's some lag. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the cube. Hope you guys have a nice day, please.
I try.